Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? It is January the 21st, 2024, and today I've got a little bit different of a video. I know that yesterday I discussed withdrawals and cravings and all that kind of stuff, and I said I was going to do my part 2 video today, but I'm going to follow that up tomorrow. So I apologize if you guys were on the lookout for that video today. I came across something, as you see, I have somebody sitting beside me here. I was actually sitting downstairs in the entertainment room, and I started writing down my notes for today's video. I started going through all the comments. First off, I apologize that I haven't gotten everybody's comments yet from last night. I fell asleep last night around 8 o'clock. I posted the video up rather late yesterday and then started getting to the comments, and then we all sat down and started watching a movie, and I fell asleep. So I woke up a little bit late this morning and then made breakfast for my family, and I've been spending some time with family this morning and just haven't had time yet to reply to the comments, which I was in the process of doing. And then my friend showed up over here. By the way, this is Bailey, and I'm going to introduce him in just a minute. But as I was sitting downstairs writing down my notes for today's videos, I got a message from him, and I had completely forgotten that he was supposed to come over here today. So when I saw the message, he was actually already here. He was sitting in my driveway and messaged me and said that he was here. So we got to talking, and I said, you know what, this would be a perfect opportunity for me to talk with Bailey and get him on camera. And that's why I'm doing a little bit different of a video today. I will follow up the part 2 to the video I did yesterday tomorrow on Monday. But I just thought this would be a really cool video to make. Bailey used to work with me when I was a chef, and we'll get into that in just a minute here. But I just thought it'd be really neat just to talk with him and give you guys a little bit of an idea of how I used to be back in the day when I was a chef. And, you know, who better to hear it from than from somebody that was with me every single day when I was. Just to go ahead and start off the video for today, I want to talk to you guys about the subscribers. Man, you guys, man, we are up to 2,127 subscribers as of the last time I checked this morning. We are just blowing this channel up. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing, for continuing to watch and continuing to support this channel. I appreciate it so much, guys. Thank you so much for everything. So if you're watching this video right now and this is your first time watching this channel, or you've been watching the channel and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I post these videos up every single day. I talk about alcoholism, health-related problems that come along with alcohol consumption, addiction, all kinds of things like that. And like I said, these videos come up every single day. And, you know, if you haven't subscribed, when you do, these videos are going to get recommended to you when I post every single day. And don't forget to hit that bell. That'll remind you every time a new video posts up. And like I said, they're up every single day, and you don't want to miss it. I talk about all kinds of different topics associated with this. But anyway, going to move off of that. Yesterday, I was talking with you guys about that I wanted to continue every single day and do movie suggestions, and got a lot of really great feedback on that. You know, like I was saying yesterday, you know, if you're having one of those days and you're having really bad cravings, there is nothing better and there's nothing wrong with just sitting down and watching a good movie. It can really help get your mind off of it. It's just a good thing to do. And you know, like I said yesterday, you're in your safe space, you're in your house, you don't have to go anywhere. You can be right on your couch or in your bed and just sit down and watch a movie and unwind. And so I had some people in the comment section yesterday, and I got on the comment section really quick before I decided to do this video, and grabbed a couple of you guys' ideas for movies. So, like I said, I'm not going to take a long time doing this every day, so I just want to go ahead and jump into this. So, movie suggestions for today. Jennifer Rivera suggested The Town with Ben Affleck. That is a great movie. I love that movie. So thank you very much, Jennifer. Valerie Locke suggested The Walking Dead. I know I've talked about that one before, but that is a great series to watch. And I think there's 11 episodes or something like that on there. I can't remember how many it is, but there's a lot. There are a lot. 11 seasons. I'm sorry. There's like 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. It might be 10, but there is so much of that on there. And that's on Netflix, I know for sure. And The Town is on Netflix as well. I know. I just saw it on the other day. Teresa recommended Shaun of the Dead. If you like zombie movies and you like a funny zombie movie, Shaun of the Dead is a great zombie funny movie. I've seen that one and it is hilarious. Morton Toby, I hope I'm pronouncing that one right, suggested The Hills Have Eyes. That's a horror movie, and that movie right there it's a little bit twisted, but that's a really good horror movie. I've seen that one as well. I wouldn't suggest you watch that with your kids. That is definitely one that you want to watch. That's an adult movie and one you would want to watch alone. And I would suggest discretion watching that movie. There's some pretty graphic stuff that goes on in that. But it is a good movie. Faith Over Fear suggested the show Frasier. And that's a funny comedy series as well. I don't know that much about that show. I've seen it before, but I've heard a lot about it. And everybody that I know that watches it says it's a really funny show. I wanted to throw in 2 suggestions. And my suggestions for today are, and this is on Netflix, is one, it's funny. It's the Chappelle Show. If you have never seen Chappelle Show, it's a little bit older. Some of the stuff is not so relevant now, but you know, if you're around during that period of time and you remember what was going on, I mean, it'll be funny. But I do have to say some of the stuff is relevant for the time that he made the show, but it's still a really, really funny show. And the next one I wanted to recommend is this one's on Tubi, and I know that probably everybody that's watching this has seen it, but it's free and you can watch it right now, and that's The Goonies. And that has got to be probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know what it is about that movie, but it's just a classic, and it's one of the movies that I go to whenever I'm having a bad day, and it's one that I watch with my kids a lot. Now, they're pretty much tired of watching it at this point, and they tell me all the time, Dad, I do not want to watch The Goonies anymore. But like I said, it's one of my favorites, and I've probably seen that movie 200 times, and I can't recommend that movie enough. But anyway, that's today's movie suggestions, and what I wanted to do now is I just wanted to kind of roll into talking with Bailey. And like I said, I just thought it'd be really neat to get Bailey on camera and kind of talk about what he remembered when we worked together. I'm guessing that was, what, 3 years ago when I left?
Yeah, about three years ago.
And like I said, you know, we worked at a private dining club. I was the executive chef there. Bailey was one of my line cooks there. He went to culinary school, and while he was in culinary school, he worked at the club that I worked at. And while he worked there, he graduated. And did you leave before I did, or did I leave before you did?
We left almost at the same time.
Okay. So he left and went and moved to another city. And now, of course, I stayed where we live at now. But he still lives where he moved to, which is a place called Newberry, South Carolina. Not going to say where we live at, you know, once again, but or where I live. But he's from where I live at, and he moved up there. And he's down here for the next 2 days visiting family and friends. And like I said, he just came to stop by and say hello to me today. And I thought, why not? This is giving me an opportunity to talk with Bailey. And I figured I'd do a little interview with him and just discuss. You know, I've told you guys that, you know, when I was drinking, that I used to drink before work. I would drink at work. I drank after work. I mean, I drank all the time. And I know Bailey was witness to a lot of that. And I just thought it'd be something that, you know, I could give you guys a little bit of an idea of how much I used to drink, and you know, that I was a functioning alcoholic. I would say a rather high functioning alcoholic, and you know, I drank a lot, and I never missed work because of it. But there were a lot of days that I wanted to. I can tell you that. So anyway, I'm just going to start this off and just introduce him. Like I said, this is Bailey. So, Bailey, why don't you tell them how we met?
Well, I was going to culinary school, trying to figure out, where I wanted to go in and learn as I go through school. And as you learn going through school, the best place to be is in a kitchen area, so that way you can learn as you go in school and learn different techniques. And I had a friend suggest the place over at this private dining club, and that's how I met Chef over here. And we worked probably a year and a half together. Like I said, I had about 6 more months left in school, and I graduated school, still working under him. And now I moved to Newberry, still cooking, and just cooking it day by day.
So whenever I interviewed you, and I don't remember when I did interview you, did I put you through a long process, or did I pretty much hire you on the spot, or?
It was we went in, talked about it, and same day was hired.
How did you get introduced to me? Was it through somebody that worked there already? Went in through Nick or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, went through Nick.
Okay, so yeah, one of the other guys that worked for me for quite some time was in culinary school as well, and he introduced Bailey to me. I guess he told Bailey that I was looking for somebody, and then Bailey came up there and interviewed with me, and I hired him. So, what was it like working with me all that time? What was your experience like?
When I first started, if you didn't really know Chef like that, you wouldn't notice it as much as his drinking. As you got to close, he was a very good chef. As y'all probably seen through some of his cooking videos, he really knows what he's talking about, and he really is a very good chef. Somebody who can always you can talk to, and if you never need to learn or something or ask questions, he's always good there. We'll say, you can definitely tell the days that he did drink. Some days were better than others. We used to ride. We used to ride with each other all the time. Come to work, go home and take him home, and just have quality time. Because it's good to have good time, especially with your employees, because you want to have a great working environment. He was a great chef. Learned a lot through him. He's willing to teach you anything that he knows, and he doesn't hide no secrets as far as cooking wise. He'll teach you anything you need to know. So,
with that said, and you just brought up one of the questions I was going to ask you. When you would, just for you guys, and I've talked about this in the videos before, that I would drink a lot before work. Well, I drink every day before work, and Bailey here lived close to where I live at now. You actually were working at the club when I lived at my other house too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he actually helped me move into the house that I'm living in now. But Bailey lived right down the road from me, from where I'm at currently. And there were a lot of days that I would, message Bailey early in the morning and go, hey, can you come get me? And Bailey would come pick me up, and then he would take me home, because I'd already drank so much that morning that I was afraid to drive. What was that like when you would come and pick me up in the morning? I mean, did I reek of booze when I would get in your car?
Yeah, you could always tell, especially the days that, like you say, when you drink every day, some days, it doesn't bother you as much, but some days, you could really tell, you could smell, you put on your little cologne, but at the end of the day, especially when you drink every single day, some days you could really tell when he been drinking. You could smell it a little bit. I will say, even when he was drinking, he was still a very cool person and everything. But, you could definitely tell it was wearing on his body some days, because come in tired, knowing he didn't get good sleep, and just wasn't the chef that we know.
And like I've said, I've told you guys that I used to weigh 250 pounds. I haven't seen Bailey. It's probably been a couple years since the last time I saw him. He had messaged me last week and said, hey, I'm going to be in town. I wanted to stop by and see you. And I said, yeah, come on by. So it's been probably 2.5 years, something like that, since the last time I saw you. Actually, it's been longer than that, I think, because he hasn't seen me since I got sick. And we were sitting downstairs, and I told him, the whole story about what happened to me. And, you know, it took a little while for me to explain to him what all happened, because the first thing he saw whenever I walked out the door, because he told me that he was already here, I opened up the door and walked out there, and when he got out of the car, he couldn't believe it was me. I did weigh 250 pounds. I mean, I was 100 pounds heavier than what I am right now. I looked completely different then versus what I do at this moment. But like I said, you know, I drank all the time. I barely ate any food. All that weight was from drinking alcohol. And, you know, I caused a lot of damage to my body. And, you know, like what Bailey said, you know, there were so many days that, you know, I would already be drunk in the morning. And, you know, I would call Bailey and say, can you come pick me up? And he'd come by and get me. And, of course, I would get in the car with him, and I'd be, you know, a little bit rambunctious and a little wound up because I'd already had a couple of liquor drinks. And it's like, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning, and he'd come get me and take me to work, and I'd, you know, just be a mess. First thing in the morning, I'm sure that there were a lot of days he came to get me and was like, gee whiz, this guy right here. Because I'm not joking. I mean, I drank all the time. So another thing that would happen is, what did I have you, anytime that you would come get me and would take me home, what if we left early enough, where did you have to take me to?
Straight to the liquor store right after work.
Every single time. Bailey has taken me to the liquor store more times than I'd like to even talk about. You know, like I said, here in South Carolina, liquor stores close at 7 o'clock in the evening. But he would come pick me up and take me to work, and then, you know, we'd get done early enough, or either, and this happened a lot as well, I would say, Bailey, I need a ride to the store real quick, and then we'd leave to go pick up rice or onions or whatever it was. And of course we would go get that, but then we would go to the liquor store and get booze. And you know, I'm sure there were plenty of times that I was drinking in your car. So, you know, you've seen me intoxicated many times. Yeah. You know, what do you remember about that?
Like I said, especially one thing I always remember when he used to drink a lot was, you know, you never seen him eat nothing, and so, you know, you could tell, like, some days you can tell that he was very weak, as you would say, because, you know, when you're using all your stuff drinking and stuff, you know, you're not eating good, you get tired, he just pass out, and it's a done deal.
Yeah, there were so many days that, you know, I would, you know, get off work, and, I mean, you would come over to the house. You know, there were so many nights where the guys would all group up together after work, and then we'd come over here or go by somebody else's house after we got off late at night. You know, there were so many times we had weddings or big functions and stuff like that, and it would be a late night, and I'd get all the guys together, and we would come back to my place, and we'd stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just getting hammered. And most of those guys didn't drink, you know, but I did. And there were so many nights that those guys would have to help me into the house. I mean, I remember specifically the night that I threw that get-together over here. Mm-hmm. It was the night after I had left the club.
Yep.
And we had that table set up over there, and all of my guys came over here. And how long do you think I made it?
Probably 30, 35 minutes.
That was it. I had already been drinking so heavy before everybody came over here, and before you know it, I had to go inside. They had to help me up my steps. And, you know, I had all these guys come over here thinking that we were going to have this, you know, big party, and it was going to be this big get-together, and we were going to have a really good time together. We had been talking about it for months because, like I said, I gave a 3-month notice at the job that I was at. And, you know, that was a long period of time of us talking about, you know, I'm going to be leaving and all that kind of stuff. And then there towards the end, you know, we are all ramped up because we have this big party. I have all these people come over to my house, and 35, 40 minutes into it, they're helping me stumble up my steps and carrying me into my house. And I left them all hanging, and they all had to leave. Now, I think y'all might have hung out for a little bit after I went inside, but still, I mean, the party was for me. And, you know, everybody was here to celebrate the fact that I was getting out of that industry and I was going on to do, you know, my own business. And it was supposed to be a really good time. And I completely let everybody down because I was so drunk that I couldn't even participate in my own party. And I remember that day, too, because it wasn't even dark yet. And the sun was still up, and then here we are. And I left towards the end of December. It was actually the last, I left at the end of December. Yeah. So, like, January 1st was my first day of being in the free world. But, so it was like, you know, December. So it's getting dark at 6 o'clock. So we're talking probably 5:30 in the afternoon. I was so wasted drunk that I couldn't even hang out with these guys. So just, you know, another one of those things, I was such a bad alcoholic, you know, and I just told Bailey everything that happened with me, and I'm sure that he, probably wasn't too surprised, to know that I got as sick as I did, because as much as I did drink, but anyway, is there anything that you want to throw in here while I got you on camera? I mean, we haven't talked about any of these questions or anything before we talked. I just basically wrote down a couple little things here, questions I wanted to ask them, but I haven't discussed anything with them. I mean, is there anything you remember from back in those days? Anything you want to add to this, you know, about my drinking or anything?
You know, as I would say, you know, he was a heavy drinker, as y'all probably have heard now. I will say his drinking he always came to work, no matter how bad he was, you know, how bad he felt, how tired he was, you know, he would always show up. I said, but as again, you know, after you drink so much for so long, you know, eventually your body just can't do it no more, and unfortunately, that's what it came to. But like I said, though, you know, as y'all see, you know, he's going through a good journey right here, heading in the right direction, and as a friend and as my old self, you know, it's kind of good to see, you know, no matter how much you drink, you know, anybody can change. And, you know, I know there's probably a lot of people out there, you know, that drinking and stuff and think like, oh, that can't be me. Well, unfortunately, you know, it might not be right now, but at any moment, you know, it can always be you. So I'll definitely, you know, rethink about what you do.
So, you know, now that we've, you know, talked about, you know, your experience with me and the amount of drinking I did, how has alcohol affected your life and you know, personally? You know, what I'm sure that you have some family members or friends or somebody that you know that drinks a lot. What's alcohol's impact been on your life?
Well, you know, I have a couple people, you know, I know, you know, and one thing about alcohol is, you know, once you get to a certain point, you know, they're not the same person, you know, sometimes I got some people, you know, that start drinking, you know, and they get a little bit more, as we would say, a little more crazier and do things that they don't realize, you know, get a little more aggressive and just don't even realize because they're in the wrong state of mind and they're not even knowing what they're doing until the next day, and they're like, no way I did that. And it's like, yes, that's why it's really important, you know, and you know, and it can hurt people, you know. It can be people that you love, you know. And I mean, I know people, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, have families, you know, that drink and stuff, you know. And me personally, you know, I would say, you know, some days, you know, they get on to you and stuff, you know, and they're like, dang, like, we were really close, you know, and alcohol, you know, it's not the same person you're cool with.
Yeah. And that does tend to happen. I know that, you know, myself, you know, there were so many nights when, you know, especially, you know, we were working together. You know, and I usually did a really good job of keeping my cool. I mean, you were witness to that. And, you know, I rarely ever got angry. And if I did, I controlled myself. But there were some times that I did explode. And, you know, there were some times I threw some things across the kitchen and did stuff like that. And, you know, those were probably the nights where I'd had too much to drink. And it totally changed my personality. You know, I was always a really easygoing guy. You know, I never embarrassed anybody. I never put anybody down. I never said anything to anyone that would make them feel bad about themselves. I always wanted to treat people how I wanted to be treated. But under the influence, I would say that I was a totally different person. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I regret about back in those days. And, you know, I remember a lot of instances of some things that, some of the times that I would say some really, really nasty things to people, scream at people, like I said, throw things across the kitchen, break stuff. And that wasn't who I was. And, you know, alcohol, when it got into me, you know, I was usually a pretty happy person when I was drinking. I never was that angry drunk. You know, my face got red and I got pretty happy and would joke a lot. And I did a lot of joking and playing around and stuff like that when we were in the kitchen. I was a big prankster and I pulled a lot of jokes on people when we were in there. But once I got, you know, to the point where I was that intoxicated, you know, things just got really negative. And it wasn't who I was. And, you know, like I've said before, now that I don't drink anymore, I look back on those days and I feel bad about that stuff. And I wish that I never did that. But, you know, like we say, can't turn back the hands of time. And we're here now. And, you know, and I've got Bailey here talking with us right now. And, you know, Bailey just told me just a minute ago when we were coming out here, he said, you know, what did you just say? You never thought what?
No.
Never thought I'd be doing YouTube videos.
Yeah, never thought that in a million years, y'all.
Did you ever think that I would ever get sober?
No.
Yeah, I never thought so either. You know, so this is something that, you know, it's just, this is the way that life has worked out. And, you know, like I've said, I wish that I didn't drink the way that I did, but if I hadn't have had my life play out the way that it did, I wouldn't be here talking with you folks right now. I wouldn't have Bailey here speaking with you right now. And I know that, you know, that Bailey is probably relieved. I mean, we're good friends, and I'm sure that he's relieved now that I don't drink anymore. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Although that, you know, I have a lot of health problems because of it, but I'm sure it's a relief to him that he doesn't have to worry about coming over here and seeing me. And I'm, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm in super rare form and 3 sheets to the wind, you know, and I'm a completely different person now that I don't drink anymore. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Is there anything else you want to add to this, Bailey, before we get off?
Nah, like I made a point earlier, is guys, you know, we all know people that are drinking and stuff, you know, and I would definitely, you know, let them see the video, let them be like, hey, look, this might not be me now, but it can always change. And, you know, and I would definitely, like, talk to your friends, you know, and be like, hey, look, we got to make the smart choices and realize, you know, one day it can always catch us.
Bailey's right, because it can. And, you know, none of us, and that brings up a good point, none of us ever set out to become alcoholics or addicts. It's not how this story began for any of us. You know, my life, it started when I was really young, and I picked up the bottle and had my first drink, and I fell in love with it. And, you know, I had a feeling when I was young that this was going to be a problem for me one day because I liked the way it felt that much. And it ended up really becoming a problem. But through my life, I always thought I had it under control, and I thought that it would never become a serious problem until it was. And then it became a problem to where I was drinking all the time, drinking all day long, drinking at work. You know, stuff that I said I would never do, ever in my life. Because I knew so many people that did things like that. I knew one of my old bosses used to drink at work every single day. And I used to tell myself, this was in my early 20s. I said, I will never turn out like him. Well, guess what? I did. Not only did I turn out like him, but I turned out worse than he did. And, you know, 42 years old, I'm in the hospital with, you know, liver failure and all kinds of other problems because I let my drinking get completely out of control. And if it's something that, you know, you're thinking about right now and you don't know, should I stop or maybe I should slow down, really take a hard look at your drinking and think about that, because it's just not worth it. It really isn't. You know, being sober and living the sober life, I'm telling you, it's so much better. You remember everything that's going on every single day, and you don't ever have to wonder what happened the night before. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to make this video any longer. We're already sitting at almost 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Tomorrow's video is going to be the follow-up from yesterday's video. I apologize if you were looking forward to that video. I will have it up tomorrow. Like I said, I just thought it would be really interesting today to have Bailey come in here and just kind of verify some of the stuff that I've talked about, you know, that I did drink every day before work. He was there for it. I mean, I was, you know, drinking liquor in his car on the way to work in the morning. I mean, I was really bad. And I just thought that it would be a neat thing to have him on here and verify some of that stuff and just kind of share his insight into it and what he saw from back in those days. But guys, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate all of you so much. And once again, I'm really sorry about the video I was going to have today. I promise you that will be out tomorrow. I just really wanted to have this opportunity today to talk with Bailey and share this with you guys and give you a little insight into my life and his life. But with that said, you guys have a great rest of your Sunday today. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. You guys are so awesome. We just went back and I was showing him the videos from when I first started doing this. I showed him the very first one, and then we went and looked at the second video that I made, the follow-up to the beginning of the first one that I did back in March of last year. I started doing these videos at the end of November. The second video I posted was Thanksgiving Day. And we've already grown all the way up to almost 2,200 subscribers in that matter of time. It is just a miracle, and it's amazing. And I can't thank anybody but you guys for doing that. So guys, thank you so much for everything. Once again, I love you so much, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video, okay? Y'all have a great day. And by the way, our cooking video for this week will be coming up. I think I'm going to do it on Tuesday. And I went to the grocery store yesterday, got a bunch of really neat items, and I'll be doing a great cooking video for us probably Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. I'll talk more about that in tomorrow's video. So with that said, you guys have a great day. Love you all. Bye-bye.